It has been a historic day for India's space adventure. Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla successfully took off for Axiom-4 mission on board SpaceX Dragon spacecraft on Wednesday. He is the first Indian in over 4 decades to be in space after Rakesh Sharma. The next report explores India's giant leap in space.
Yet another cosmic leap for India. Indian Air Force Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla has scripted history with the launch of Axiom Mission 4. A US commercial mission carrying astronauts from India, Poland and Hungary lifted off to the International Space Station on Wednesday, taking people from these countries to space for the first time in decades. The Axiom Mission 4 or AX-4 launched from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 6:31 GMT with a brand new SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule riding atop a Falcon 9 rocket. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, an Indian Air Force pilot who is the mission pilot, is India's second astronaut going into space, 4 decades after Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma made history in 1984. Sharma, the 39-year-old Indian Air Force fighter pilot, was chosen by ISRO as the prime astronaut for this historic flight. Soon after the Axiom-4 mission successfully entered Earth's orbit on Wednesday, Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla shared his experience.
नमस्कार मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, what a ride! 40 साल बाद हम वापस अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच गए हैं और कमाल की राइड थी। और मेरे कंधे पे मेरे साथ मेरा तिरंगा है जो मुझे बता रहा है कि नहीं हूँ, मैं आप सबके साथ हूँ। ये मेरी इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन तक की जर्नी की शुरुआत नहीं है, ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत है और मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सभी देशवासी इस यात्रा का हिस्सा बने। आपका भी सीना जैसे चौड़ा होना चाहिए, आप भी उतना ही एक्साइटमेंट दिखाइए। आइए हम सब मिलकर भारत के इस ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की जर्नी की शुरुआत करें। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla's parents were extremely elated and celebrated the momentous occasion.
अनुभव तो बहुत बढ़िया है, कहें और क्या कहें क्या ना कहें तो सब आप लोग देख ही रहे हो। अनुभव की कोई ज़्यादा इमोशनल हो गए थे पर अब ठीक है।
President of India Draupadi Murmu congratulated Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla on the successful feat of Axiom-4 mission. On social media X, the President stated, and I quote, "As Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla creates a new milestone in space for India, the whole nation is excited and proud of an Indian's journey into the stars. My best wishes for the success of this mission." Taking to X, PM Narendra Modi praised the successful launch of the mission. The Indian astronaut Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is on the way to become the first Indian to go to International Space Station. He carries with him the wishes, hopes and aspirations of 1.4 billion Indians. Wish him and other astronauts all the success. India's cabinet also lauded the successful launch of Axiom-4 mission.
We welcome the successful launch of the space mission carrying astronauts from India, Hungary, Poland and the US. The Indian astronaut group captain Shubhanshu Shukla is on the way to become the first Indian to go to International Space Station.
This is a moment where India has come of age. India is today a frontline nation, and it is, I would say, heralds the ascent of India to that pedestal of Viksit Bharat.
Once they reach the ISS on Thursday, the astronauts will spend about 2 weeks on the space station, where they will conduct microgravity research, technology demonstrations and outreach events. Bureau Report, DD India.
And talk about this exciting space mission. Joining me is retired Lieutenant General Anil Bhatt, Director General, Indian Space Association. General Bhatt, good evening and welcome to DD India. Second time in 40 years, an Indian pilot successfully launches into space. How does the Axiom mission mark a historic milestone for India's space adventure?
Definitely. Not only a milestone, but also a stepping stone. And I'll try to explain that. Milestone because, yes, after 41 years, again an Indian is going, and there is the first Indian going to the Indian Space Station. And a stepping stone because it is our way which we aspire to go to the moon by 2040. And that would start with Gaganyaan mission which would be in the next 2 years, where experience of Shubhanshu Shukla will be a great asset to us. And thereafter, of course, the Bharati Antariksh Station from 2028 to 35, and finally to the moon.
Right. Could you elaborate on that point about stepping stones, especially for the Gaganyaan mission? The kind of physical, mental experience of working with machines in the space, how will that come invaluably handy in the upcoming missions for Captain Shukla and others?
So, as you are aware, Captain Shukla was part of the astronauts we were preparing for Gaganyaan. And then this window came, which has been utilized. But the basic issue is when any nation, spacefaring nation, transforms from sending satellites, sending missions to the moon, to Mars or whatever, and the moon, to sending human beings, there is a quantum change. And the quantum change is because this requires human safety standards. You have to create an environment in space for human beings to be safe and to be able to survive there. And for this, one of our astronauts getting an experience to go to the International Space Station, stay there for 14 days, is a hands-down experience into what space would be, and his inputs coming back to ISRO and Gaganyaan would be a great help.
Right, and so there's a great deal of curiosity around this mission as well. We understand Captain Shukla is the pilot of the spacecraft. For a layperson to understand, if you could give us some insight as to how is it different flying he's a fighter pilot, flying an aircraft in the Earth's atmosphere and in the space?
Well, that's what they tell me, that there are two different worlds. As it is, to be a pilot and a pilot of standard of Shubhanshu Shukla, they are the best. Test pilot is a man who can fly any aircraft given to him. Even an aircraft which is a prototype is flown by a test pilot. It tests all his abilities of training as well as his instincts. But coming to space, space is a different world. Here is where different strengths of a human being come into light. And those strengths are his psychological, his physiological abilities to be able to sustain this very difficult environment of enclosed space, of zero gravity, of all it has the impact on the human body and the human mind. And that is why we do select, and not we, the world selects the best, and traditionally the pilots to be able to become astronauts. They are the best of the bestest.
And how crucial are going to be the next steps? We understand that Captain Shukla is taking the spacecraft towards the International Space Station. There is going to be docking and then staying for about 14 days on the International Space Station and then returning back to Earth.
Yeah. So docking itself is a very complex thing, because what you are doing is the spacecraft which has taken off from Earth has to go into the orbit where the International Space Station is. And I believe for docking on the side which they are doing, it is from the front side. It goes ahead of the International Space Station, then slowly slows down and nearly at zero speed meets and gets in contact with where it has to dock. And then the complex procedure of dock. Of course, most of it is pre-programmed and done by computers, but the human oversight also is there. It's a complex thing, but it has been done for so many years, and we will see one of this happening tomorrow at about 4:30.
Right, and this mission also marks significant cooperation between international partners. This is US mission, you have crew members led by India, Poland and Hungary.
So, traditionally that is one thing great about the International Space Station. It has been a rallying point of cooperation. At the peak of it, between Russia, USSR and America, and now between Russia and America. It is the only place where they operate together, they work together for the furtherance of science for mankind.
And so what can you tell us about
the mission?
Right.
We have Hungary and Poland also.
Right. And what can you tell us about the particular experiments and the time that the crew members, including Captain Shukla, when they spend time, 14 days, at the International Space Station, what are they going to do and achieve?
So what basically in the International Space Station, all experiments are done in microgravity. And many successful medical experiments, medicines in the past have been made here. This time there are 60 experiments of 31 countries, which these 4 astronauts will be carrying out in the 14 days. And out of them, 7 of them are by Indian scientific institutions, more on biology or agriculture, like algae and other things, and even on medical, where muscle atrophy is being studied. And 7 of these specific experiments are from India, which Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla would be monitoring and doing the whole experiment.
Right. And finally, sir, we remember Indian cosmonaut Rakesh Sharma's mission inspired generations of space enthusiasts. Do you see a similar moment really in play with Captain Shukla?
Oh, yes, definitely. Incidentally, Mr. Rakesh Sharma went in 1984. He excited generations of people, including me. And now this young man who was born in 1985, 1 year after Rakesh Sharma had gone up into space, is going to be the heartthrob of generations to come.
Right, on that note, General Bhatt, thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour and sharing your perspective.